KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Finish Line Express is now open at Cars Plus in Mighty. The state-of-the-art car wash is now open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
A lot going on at the Legislature today, an emergency session, a special session, and 2 key bills vetoed. I'm Nestor Lecanto. We'll have details on that coming right up.
Did the system fail a little boy who alleged he was molested by his foster parent? An investigation underway at Department of Public Health to find out what went wrong. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with the update.
Conducting trauma-informed sexual assault investigations. I'm Tomas Manglonia speaking with the expert training local authorities on how to do exactly that.
Hafidades and buenas noches. Bienvenido para KUAM News Primetime. Guahu Sinek Delgado.
Sa Guahu si Destiny Cruz. Sizos maasi Purimanyanyo Mizu Guini na programa.
Well, emergency session continued today with discussion on a bill to provide Guam Department of Education millions of dollars for some much-needed school repairs and improvements.
And while senators have flung the coffers wide open to address long deteriorating conditions, education officials weren't as eager to grab for it as you might expect. Nestor Lecanto reports.
The bill by Republican Senator Chris Dueñas appropriates $30 million to help fix what just about everyone in the community agrees are terrible conditions at many of the public schools. But in her opening testimony, Acting Superintendent Dr. Judy Wampat said they already have enough federal ARP funding for facility maintenance and capital improvements.
Can we benefit from more money for CIP? Absolutely. We can always benefit from more. But at this time, we are in a position to address our facilities and CIP needs through the current federal funding we have. This would, in turn, free up the funds in this bill to support the pay raises.
But for Senator Jesse Lujan and others, GDOE's stance begged the question, do you want the $30 million?
We have it now. I mean, in previous times, we're trying to find money to give it to DOE. This is the time that we have it, and I'm just baffled in the fact that, yeah, we can use it, but, you know, can you just give it to us maybe next year and the year after?
GDOE's preference was, rather than a one-time appropriation, consider annual funding for deferred maintenance, including a public-private partnership. As for the current situation that prompted senators to call for an emergency session in the first place, Deputy Superintendent for Finance Frank Kuperner says they're spending the $239 million in federal ARP money as fast as they can.
Expended is 46.9, encumbrance is 8.8 million, requisitions is nearly 80 million, leaving a remaining balance to the Guam Public School District at $103.8 million.
But there was a snag.
In the process of putting these packages together, we realized that technical expertise did not exist in the Guam Department of Education.
So GDOE had to engage other agencies such as GPA through an MOU to bring in that technical expertise. And despite all the efforts, Facilities and Maintenance Manager Phil Tovas says the much-needed repairs might still not get done.
Because everybody's focused on the military, the big money contracts, getting bidders to participate.
Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
Senators were also supposed to go into special session this afternoon to discuss the government of Guam's general pay raise bill. As of news time, they hadn't started. Yesterday, the governor repeatedly called for a special session. Speaker Terlahi cut short the previously scheduled emergency session 4 times to convene that special session. Each time, senators voted to adjourn and meet on the pay raise bill today.
While Governor Leon Guerrero has vetoed 2 bills by Speaker Therese Terlahi dealing with the Eagles Field controversy. One of the measures requires legislative approval for any federal land lease longer than 5 years. Eagles Field is for at least 50. The governor accused bill supporters of, quote, selling fool's gold to the original landowners. She said under the law, the land can only be used for public purposes and can't be returned.
The other bill is meant to increase transparency in the planning of the billion-dollar medical campus, but the governor says the additional requirements threaten to mire the project in bureaucracy. Meanwhile, Attorney General Doug Moylan, who must approve the lease still as to legal form, says there are implications if senators plan further action.
If the legislature overrides it, then we should no longer move forward on this review because the law has changed. Now, the law might already exist with the Organic Act and all the existing statutes, the bill to the lease to own statutes that are out there. We're also looking at that in light of this lease agreement, because it's basically a lease from the federal government for federal property to build our hospital under purportedly that statute. So we're looking at that statute that the schools have used in the past. There's some quirks in it, though, that the government doesn't actually own the property at the end. The people of Guam do not own the property at the end. It reverts back to the federal government.
AG Moylan says so far his office is concerned with a clause in the proposed lease that would allow the feds to take over the facility in the event of an emergency. He wants clarification if that means the facility overall is for the local community or just an overflow for Naval Hospital. He plans to meet with the governor's legal counsel in the next 2 weeks. How did a man arrested twice before on allegations that he sexually molested young boys get approval to become a foster parent? Criminal and civil investigations are underway to find answers to that very question.
That man, defendant Ryan Joshua Cruz, now set to go before a grand jury facing a possible indictment for allegedly molesting a foster child placed in his care. Mitsuki Hirayama has the story.
They should be taken care of. To any case, to any child, parent, they should treat them as their own.
In a position meant to protect and care for an already vulnerable child, defendant Ryan Joshua Cruz now stands accused of allegedly sexually abusing his foster child multiple times since being placed in his care this past February. The foster child removed since the case surfaced last week, but it's not the first or even second time his name appeared in court records in recent years. So how did government workers miss it? Even a quick search online, 2018 reports show Cruz was arrested on criminal sexual conduct charges. In November of last year, Cruz arrested again for allegedly molesting a young boy known to him. How he was still able to get approval?
Very disconcerting that this has occurred.
Guam Attorney General Doug Moylan says a civil and criminal investigation is underway.
Investigating this matter, finding out from public health, what are the procedures in which these foster parents are being vetted and retained by the taxpayers to be foster parents.
Department of Public Health and Social Services Director Art San Augustine declined comment, the local health agency remaining silent, citing the ongoing investigation.
Island. And when the government is putting kids that are in need in contact with people with a background that apparently is coming out with this case, we need to find out why it happened, stop it, and address it.
The AG's office will take action once they figure out what went wrong. Meanwhile, Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence Executive Director Cynthia Cabot says while it's difficult to pinpoint who's to blame,
for this individual to be able to go through this screening, that also tells you that sometimes perpetrators are too smart for our system.
She says these situations should not be taken lightly.
We want to think, this is such a difficult situation, a difficult conversation to have, but oftentimes I think we need to not to make light of the situation, but to address it in smaller pieces so it is better managed and better able to deal with.
Cruz has since been released on a $50,000 bond. Prosecutors have until April 3rd to bring his case before a grand jury for a possible indictment. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
All right, thanks, Mitsuki. We'll have more news in a moment.
Keep it here. You're watching KUAM News.
Lainwo Inekpa Myra. Lainwo Inekpa Regina Levi Nedlick. Afakfakin Karingin Saulaka. Apalama Fakfak saying e we long a katiki corona. Nga isfak ke COVID-19 in sangkaring niya. Seulak talit na tik away pamit natalak. Wayang rate malaka kulamalap.
For more information, talk to your doctor or call the Guam Immunization Program at 671-735-7143. This message is brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Social Services and funded through a federal grant with the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Funded by CDC grant number 6NH23IP922-638-02-06.
The wait is over, Guam. The all-new state-of-the-art car wash is now open at Cars Plus. Introducing Finish Line Express, open 7 days a week. The all-new cashless drive-through car wash is also the largest car wash on island that can accommodate vehicles such as lifted Jeeps and full-size pickup trucks. Just roll up, pick a wash, insert credit card, or show your EverWash app and roll through. Plus, power vacuums are available to clean the interior. Show your vehicle some love today at the all-new car wash at Cars Plus in Mighty. Open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week.
Mizuru tweets, confession, I really like Jack in the Box Tiny Tacos. My crunchy tiny tacos with creamy avocado lime sauce? There's a lot to like. I have a confession too. One time, I've been advised to stop talking. Tiny tacos, get them regular or loaded.
Welcome back to Primetime. How can law enforcement provide trauma-informed and victim-centered care?
That's the question one expert visiting Saipan is answering in a week-long training as the NMI's Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence turns 16 years old today. Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia reports.
Part of this training is the recognition that we can actually help people heal.
That healing at the center of the Trauma-Informed Sexual Assault Investigations training on Saipan, hosted by the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. Tom Tremblay, a consultant trainer and retired chief of police and former DPS commissioner from Vermont, is on island to facilitate.
So trauma-informed training is really a training that really emphasizes the understanding of victim trauma, what a victim and survivor experiences during a sexual assault or sexual abuse, and what they experience in the aftermath. And if we understand victim trauma, we can design new approaches that will minimize further trauma in our process.
Over 100 participants from local law enforcement, nonprofits, and government agencies attended the sessions over the past 2 weeks.
The challenges that I see all over the country are that we don't like to talk about this stuff. It's hard to talk about, but we have to have conversations about how we get better at responding to this, preventing and holding those who offend accountable.
That has also been the longtime mission of the coalition, which turned 16 years old today.
When we first started the coalition, it was very difficult and almost unheard of to have these conversations out in the public. And so we worked really hard to shift that perspective and to help people understand that it's in having these hard conversations that we can really end sexual assault and domestic violence.
Tomas Manglotnia, KUAM News, Saipan.
Well, it's a widespread effort to address sexual assault and domestic violence. The Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence centering the journey to healing, seeking to help victims to become survivors. The coalition holding a 2-day conference with local and national partners to build agencies' capacity to provide support services to those who need it most. Cynthia Cabot is the coalition's executive director.
I think, too, we need to go beyond the understanding, but actually looking at ways that we can help victims become survivors and then help them continue to heal, because we continue to live in this community and many continue to feel the hurt. So we are looking at ways that we can help facilitate that.
The conference wraps up tomorrow at the Westin in Tumon. For more information, check out guamcoalition.org.
An Air Force general is relieved of command of the 36th Wing on Andersen Air Force Base. Today, Lieutenant General David Nahom, commander of the 11th Air Force, relieved Brigadier General Paul Birch from the top leadership position of the 36th Wing. The decision is said to be, quote, due to shortfalls in his personal conduct prior to taking command. The military not yet saying the specific conduct which led to the decision. Nahom says it was one he did not take lightly, stating commanders must always be held to the highest standards. Birch has been on Guam since June of last year after serving as the chief of the Strategic Planning Integration Division at the Pentagon. Colonel Larry Fenner Jr. is tapped to serve as interim 36th Wing Commander. The 36th Wing consists of 8,000 uniformed and civilian personnel. Today is World Social Worker Day.
That's right. Across the globe, every third Tuesday in March is dedicated to showing appreciation for the important role social workers play in helping families and children facing adversity. Harvest House hosts a gathering to recognize our hardworking social workers, foster parents Ashley Lemney and Suzanne Jean Tachira.
Today, we're really just here to thank our caseworkers, to show them that we feel the burden that they carry and we appreciate the work that they do, all of the tireless hours and the effort that they give.
I would like to say thank you so much for putting your life on the line, for doing your job and not just trying to take a paycheck, because it's without you, we wouldn't be able to do our part in the community.
They thank those like Child Protective Services.
Investigator
It
Peter
is
Santos.
the love for the kids, you know, and wanting to ensure that they're in a safe and loving environment. It's something that I just felt the need to go and be a part of. I didn't want to just report on the fire. I wanted to be there, helping to put it out. And so that's really kind of what drove me to enter this field of work.
They thank those like Child Protective Services investigator Peter Santos Jr.
And that was, of course, Santos, a former reporter here at KUAM. Happy Social Workers Day to him and all the hardworking social workers. Well, now for a look at your world at home. Wow, look at that time-lapse view there. The sun setting on Saipan from Gun Beach in Garapan Tourist District.
This view and more tomorrow music you can listen to anytime with this QR code on Isla Digital Radio.
Here with this experience today, I mean, top notch.
It helps you in the long run.
Make sure that you're always checking your health. It's not only yourself that you're checking yourself. Actually, you need to check each other, and then at the same time, if you have the right facility to go to, please go to the medical center.
And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich, you'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
All right, everybody, we are making history here. Jason Salas, your sports guy. Welcome to KUM Sports Show. And I have never, in a quarter century of doing work, I've interviewed thousands of people over the years. I've never interviewed three people at the same time who all had the same name. So we have Kate Inchun right here and Katie Mueller. They're up top. And then also Katie Foote. And they are the creme de la creme, the best of the best in the recent Lady Triton Super League basketball tournament. I guess we're gonna have to say one's Kate, one's Katie, one's Catherine. Or I mean, we'll figure it out. But basically, everybody in the Zoom room today who plays basketball, whose name is Kate, can really play. So you guys can really ball. So first of all, congratulations on your success.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to Kate Inchun. Let's start with the MVP. All right, so Madam Ms. Valuable Player, talk about the caliber of the tournament and of the league, and and what it means to be named MVP, and your philosophy on court play.
Yeah. As far as the league goes, I think. Sorry, I'm blurring out. I think it's a really fun, a base or a location where there's essentially an adult women's league for me to just continue playing basketball in. And then as far as just the award goes, it was completely unexpected. With my teammates alone, there's a lot of talent on the court. And as far as sports goes, it's a happy place for me outside of work and other things. You like to be able to continue doing things you're passionate about, and especially with the ladies on my team at a high level, it's fun. It's a fast pace. Can't ask for more.
Yeah, when we practice out at Anderson, there's banners and stuff hanging in the gym. So it's always cool to see championships from way back when, from the men's and the women's program. So it's cool to be able to continue that legacy. Katie Foote and I are two of the taller players, but don't necessarily play 5. But if I've got all guards out there, then I will play 5. If I got some posts out there, all of a sudden I'm like 2 out there. So it's kind of cool. I grew up playing a lot of post, so I like being able to play the different positions out here for sure.
Very nice. Okay, so you're more than willing to go out and show your range and everything, but you can still get down low and and bang with the big girls in there.
Yeah, and Guam's a little bit different. There's not as much of a post presence as there was growing up with some of the other teams I competed against. So
even more room to dominate. There you go.
It gives me just a different perspective, being able to play down low and out on the perimeter a little bit, which I hadn't done a lot growing up. So it's fun to expand the game a little bit.
Very nice. Okay, so Katie Foote, maybe you can tell us, you were recognized with all league honors. What is your background like playing in other parts of the world, and then how were you able to either adapt your game or take your game to the next level playing in the Super League here?
Yeah, so I grew up in Colorado, so I've played since I was probably 5 years old. And then I ended up going to the Air Force Academy and playing there for 4 years. And then when I graduated, I wasn't really expecting there to be an opportunity for me to really play at a competitive level again. But the Air Force provided me that, so I've been able to play overseas in Europe a little bit. And then coming here, being able to play in Guam, that was also unexpected. I've never had a base team that's this competitive before, and just having everyone on the court at the level that we're at, it just makes it a bunch of fun when we're out there.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Only Pizza Hut lets you surround your favorite pizza with greatness. The one and only stuffed crust pizza tempts your taste buds with melted cheese stuffed inside that amazing crust. And at just $18.99 with one topping, the stuffed crust pizza is truly irresistible. So grab your slice of pizza perfection with cheesy goodness baked right into the crust. The stuffed crust pizza, just $18.99 with one topping. Only at Pizza Hut, the island's best.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
Hafa day, everyone. My name is Ava Suva, a senior at John F. Kennedy High School and a KUAM Giving Tuesday Spark Ambassador. For this week of Giving Tuesday, we have Vanessa Jade Santos to talk about the very important topic that is college preparation.
Hafa day, everyone. A KUAM Giving Tuesday Spark Ambassador here. My name is Vanessa Jade Santos, a senior at Simon Sanchez High School. And today, my Spark Ambassadors and I are checking in to see students around the island and how well they are preparing themselves for college. Let's go.
Do you believe that college is for you? Why or why not?
Yes, because I want to be successful in the future.
I think that college is for me because the profession that I want to be in the future is a cardiologist.
I think I would fit in a college type environment, but I don't think it's something I need right now in my life. So that's why I've opted to not take the usual college route.
What are you doing right now to prepare for college?
Right now I want to be a nurse, so I'm taking pre-college courses right now at my high school.
I've taken multiple AP classes like Chem, Bio, and Calculus, and I've also taken the SAT.
Are you doubtful about college? If so, why?
Yes, mainly because like the process is kind of like confusing, and especially the money too. So I have a job right now, but that I need to be saving up like a lot for college.
Doubtful about going straight into college after high school because of money.
Are you aware of other funding sources for college, like scholarships and grants?
The only thing I know is FAFSA, but other than that, no.
I actually found out too late about scholarships in my senior year, like second semester. At the time that I found out, all the colleges have already passed the deadline.
Studies say that 75% of high school graduates are not prepared to make college and career decisions. So here's what some of our fellow advisors have to say in giving advice about preparing for college.
First, start opening up an account, find a job, and if you are going to college, you got to sort out what your interests are. That way, going into college, you know what classes you're planning on taking or what degree you're trying to pursue.
ETS was actually a huge impact on my college preparation. They did expose me to a lot of math and English preparation for the test. In terms of financially, I took advantage of the many scholarships that are available out there. So for me personally, I was able to get access to the Cortex scholarship, the NHA scholarships, and then there was a couple national scholarships that I was able to get access. But to fully prepare for college, I would say that there are things that you don't really prepare yourself in advance. There are many things that you learn while you're a college student.
For graduating seniors and even for juniors, my advice is discuss your plan with your current counselor. One of the important things of doing that is you will be guided properly on the requirements for selected courses that you have in college and all the process and steps that you need to take in regards to college preparation.
Visit scholarships.com to learn more information about scholarships and grants. To those who are a bit doubtful or unsettled about college, I now hope we're able to light a spark in your life. See you around campus maybe? Bye!
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
Finally tonight, your birthday wishes.
Here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
Fiesta birthday wishes on this 21st of March to Jana Carriaga. Happiest birthday, Banana Girl. We love you so much, and please enjoy your special day. Say Mom, Mike, JJ, Cam, Jeremiah, Grandma, and the family. And they use 2 heart emoji, 2. Happy 75th birthday and birthday shoutouts to beloved Juan Ugin. We love you to the moon and back. Love and blessings from the entire family, most especially your daughter, Joan, who's a very, very proud daughter. Mr. Juan, we wish you good health and happy 75th birthday, sir. Edna May Leon Girl, happy birthday to this wonderful mom and grandma and great-grandma. Your children, grandchildren, and great-grands say, we love you always. And they use the big heart emoji. You know, the one that like reflects? That one's really, really nice. Claudina wishing our mommy the best birthday wishes coming from Sival, Sivic, and Siviv. Very, very nice. And a belated birthday wish going out to Connor James Augustine. Happy 7th birthday to our boy. We hope you have a good day and we love you so much, says the family.
Happy birthday to everyone celebrating. Estigui Idzin Mizu primetime show si Zeus Ma si Put and Enega Guahu si Nick Delgado.
Sa Guahu si Destiny Cruz, Nafan sa Fuham Zuzagosa Iponi.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
We are online, aren't we? Hey, it must be 11 o'clock because I'm sitting here. All my friends, all my colleagues are behind this wall right now. You are out there, wherever device you are watching us on. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, half a day from Guam. We are coming to you from Harmon. We are KUAM, and this is the hotspot where we show you awesome stuff that's happening right here in the 671. Got a jam-packed show for you today because today is Tuesday, so we tackle health, home, and lifestyle issues. We take a look at the app Rescue Me CPR, showing you how a little piece of mobile technology can save somebody's life. Stay tuned for that. We will also have another dose of Weekly Renewal with Claire Calvo, breaking down the science of stress, what it is, how it's bad for you, and even possibly how it's even good for you in moderation. And we're going to close out the show with House to Home with Liz and Gina, showing you once again another way that you can understand mortgage, the M word. All right, but first, everybody, each and every one of you that came out, that showed an interest in the St. Baldrick's program. The Great Shave-a-thon was, of course, held this past Saturday at GPO. There we are, and there are our wonderful volunteers from the GCC Cosmetology program. 32 of them in all literally stood in line, waiting with bated breath to shave over 20 island residents who braved the shave and who lost all of their hair willingly. They gave it up. There were a record number of women that got shaved this year. Many of them donated their hair to Locks of Love because hair that was long, it's going to go towards wigs, towards hair pieces, towards toupees, to people who have maybe lost their hair due to cancer treatment. We are definitely going to help them. We raised, and this is interesting, everybody, in the year 2023, we raised exactly $2,023 from your donations in cash, checks, online contributions, everything. So thank you so much. And because of the generosity and benevolence of our friends over at the Insurance Association of Guam, they did a dollar-for-dollar matching. So we raised over $4 grand to conquer childhood cancer. And that is something that we are very, very proud of. Not in a vain way, but just so that we could help these little Guamanians as they and their families are in the fight of their life. So we really, really appreciate each and every one of you. A portion of the funds, of course, stay here on island because of our local beneficiary, our friends at the Edward M. Calvo Cancer Foundation. So to Guam Cancer Care, who was there passing out flyers and information brochures and talking to people about what kind of information they can have. Our friends at St. Jude's, our friend Uncle Peter Alexis Atta was there. Of course, the Edward M. Calvo Cancer Foundation was there, GCC Cosmetology Program, the aforementioned, and of course, GPO. A lot of people made this happen, and it was a lot of love, and it was a lot of volunteers, people just doing this because, as they said, whether you were shaving or being shaved, everybody said it was the right thing to do. So thank you so much for making this happen, everybody. We really changed some lives, and we really saved some lives. So from all of us at the KUAM Care Force, this is completely due to your generosity. So thank you, Sidzus Masi, once again, everybody. All right, in this week's Health Check Report now, moving on. Whew, that was emotional. Since Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin's life was saved on the field, there's been a big push to get more and more people to understand the importance of defibrillators in the event of a cardiac case. Now there is mobile technology that helps you do just that.
Health Check is presented to you by the Medical City.
In a medical emergency, time is of the essence to begin life-saving measures.
I am matching my pace with the timer.
Inside UC San Diego's Simulation Training Center,
Don't feel pulse.
Researchers have been testing the Rescue Me CPR app.
This app could be used by anybody, whether they have experience in cardiopulmonary resuscitation or not.
Dr. Mark Greenberg developed the app along with medical student Brennan Marsh Armstrong. For Dr. Greenberg, it was personal after a loved one witnessed an emergency.
There was a kid on the couch who all of a sudden, when we looked over, was blue and not breathing. I said, well, what would you have liked to have? And they said, I wish we had an app. I said, I'm going to make one.
Through visual, voice, and text prompts, CPR can be done on anyone experiencing an opioid overdose or any type of cardiac arrest.
The more people that know CPR, the more likelihood that someone will be around you that can perform CPR when it's needed.
This person needs CPR.
It gives you a choice, you make the choice, and then you move on to the next. And within 45 seconds, you're already doing chest compressions.
Every year in the U.S., there are 350,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests. CPR can double or triple the chances of survival.
When there's an emergency, do people tend to forget what to do?
They do, and one of the main features of this app is that it keeps them on task.
Dr. Greenberg says his goal is to get Rescue Me CPR on as many phones as possible.
Life-saving is important. Every life counts.
Saving lives one download at a time. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, San Diego.
Health Check is presented to you by the Medical City.
Moving on in our show now, everybody always says that, you have to get your stress under control. Do not impose stress on yourself. Do not impose it on your family members or your coworkers. A little stress, as they say, can be motivational and everything, but Claire Calvo is here right now with this week's installment of Weekly Renewal, and she is actually showing you the science and what makes stress happen and how you can better control yours.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Hop a day, I'm Claire Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. As a single mother and an owner of a small business, especially after this past year, I am no stranger to stress. And by the same token, as a fitness and yoga instructor and a detox and wellness facilitator over the years, I am also no stranger to stress management. And so we've heard it all, right? Stress is the underlying cause of disease. Stress is the silent killer, leads to physical ailments, leads to mental emotional issues and so forth. In order to reach optimum health and wellness, it's important that we address stress and learn how to manage stress effectively. If you are constantly under stress, chronic stress, you can have a host of physical symptoms. Anything from headaches, stomach discomfort, high blood pressure, chest pains, and even problems with sleep and with sex. Stress also leads to emotional attack, anxiety, and worry. In fact, medical research estimates as much as 90% of illnesses and disease is stress-related. It can interfere with your physical functioning and bodily processing. So high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease and heart disease, digestive, and even inflammatory issues have been linked to stress factors. 43% of adults suffer adverse health effects from stress. That's almost half of the adult population. An alarming 75% to 90% of all doctor visits are reportedly stress-related ailments and complaints. So obviously, this calls for stress management tools, right? There are myriad ways to cope with stress and to manage our emotions effectively and productively. And here are a few, of course not limited to, but these are a few of the different ways. Deep breathing, or in yoga we call it pranayama, the control of our breath, meditation, yoga, mindfulness, journaling, gratitude and positive affirmations. Of course, there's gratitude journals, a simple exercise routine, of course, a healthy diet, adequate sleep, reducing or eliminating substance use, of course, connecting with friends and family, with loved ones, and last but definitely not least, asking for help, seeking out therapy. For a long time, therapy was almost taboo here on island. Right? And I'm happy to see and to say that now more people are seeking out therapy and they're taking advantage of this incredibly helpful and for some necessary service that thankfully is covered by insurance. And so over the next few segments, I will share specific tools, getting into more depth of stress management tools. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next time on your Weekly Renewal.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Okay, time for a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we have News Bites where we take you around the island, all around it. If there's something cool happening in your village, we're going to tell you about it. So that's coming up next.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, We work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Let's eat, y'all, y'all. Let's eat, y'all, y'all. Let's see if you can keep up with the beat, y'all, y'all. Take a seat, y'all, y'all. Time to feast, y'all, y'all. Then let's see what you can really do for me, y'all, y'all. Crab legs, duck, eggs, bon appetit, y'all, y'all. And another round of drinks, can't even speak, though. Can't keep my eyes off this precious cheese, and I thought I saw a wink, was that for me, y'all, 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 y'all. RSVP, are you gonna be there with me? RSVP, y'all, y'all.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Hotspot. We're coming to you live as we do every weekday here at 11 on YouTube and Facebook. I'm Jason Salas once again. Thanks so much for streaming us or watching. All right, time for News Bites, where we show you everything that's happening around the island. There's that wonderful graphic. Thank you, gentlemen. First off, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, in partnership with the War in the Pacific National Historical Park, invites the public, you and I, to celebrate Ha'anen Liteksan, or otherwise known as Retidian Day, on Saturday, March 25th from 9:30 in the morning until just after lunch at the Retidian Unit. Activities include a youth fishing workshop, displays of local fishing methods, wildlife viewing, environmental stewardship, we all need to practice that, tours of the refuge, and much more. If you've never been up to the refuge, trust me, Mike Villagomez tells me all the time, the Retidian Refuge is awesome. He endorses it, he loves it. Mike, right? Yes, you heard him right there. Hey, see? Mike is a real person, for those of you who never saw him. He comes in sometimes, like on the show. All right. So next, Senator Roy Kanata, of course, one of our freshman policy makers, he is up next, and he organized a tour recently of the Marine base for members of his fellow 37th KUAM legislature. It created an opportunity to educate legislators on military endeavors in that region while promoting open discourse between the parties. He said, quote, "It's important to me that our legislators are informed about what's happening at the Marine base. That tour provided a first-hand look into what's taking place there and will allow for a meaningful conversation with leaders." You know, of course, the good senator, when he was campaigning, said that he actually wanted an open dialogue between members of the military and the community at large. Speaking of the military, congratulations, and very well deserved so, to U.S. Army Specialist Peter Raymond of the Guam National Guard, who visited family during Operation Homebound up in Jigo recently. He was born in Chuk State in the FSM, and the specialist serves as a translator and cultural liaison for public health and their outreach program connecting Guam's underserved communities with programs, Medicare and medical enrollment, COVID-19 testing, vaccination, and much more. Thank you, Specialist Raymond. Very well done. And recognizing the treatment courts are most successful as an innovation tool, the judiciary hosted a series of training and technical assistance visits for the adult drug and veterans treatment courts with the National Association of Drug Court Professionals. Another way that justice is being served, helping keep our island community safe. Of course, that's the word I was looking for. All right, please stay tuned because I am getting ready. I'm going to put on my real estate hat right after this, and I'm going to talk to my girls, Liz and Gina from Remax Diamond Realty, and we are going to talk about understanding mortgages. They're not as scary as they seem, but you do need to educate yourself. So get some paper, get some pens, or fire up the Notes app on your iPhone, because we are going to talk about mortgages and what you need to know next.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
I just wrote a jingle for my fish sandwich. Want to hear it? Fish, fish, fish. Look at this fish. It's wild-caught pollock from Alaska. Good thing I don't need jingles to sell my food. My fish sandwich is back for a limited time.
The wait is over, Guam. The all-new state-of-the-art car wash is now open at Cars Plus. Introducing Finish Line Express, open 7 days a week. The all-new cashless drive-through car wash is also the largest car wash on island that can accommodate vehicles such as lifted Jeeps and full-size pickup trucks. Just roll up, take a wash, insert credit card, or show your EverWash app and roll through. Plus, power vacuums are available to clean the interior. Show your vehicle some love today at the all-new car wash at Cars Plus in Mighty. Open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Tuesday means that we are talking about real estate, and more importantly, we are helping you make an informed decision. And is there any better kind than having the education, the experience, and quite honestly, the confidence to know that what you're doing is the right thing to do? And Liz and Gina are joining me from Remax Diamond Realty Guam as they help you to basically navigate these often treacherous waters of real estate. So ladies, hot the day. And Gina, you actually specifically picked today's topic because you are talking about we are talking about mortgages today, right? Ooh, the M word.
The M word. It's a great word. Shoots. Without mortgages, I own nothing.
It's no okay. Perfect point by Gina. Like, the mortgages are not a bad word. They can be a little bit intimidating. I get it. They can be kind of psychologically scary, but do not give up mortgages for Lent.
Yeah. No. Gosh, why would you ever want to give up a mortgage when you can use someone else's money to buy a home, to enrich yourself, to invest? I mean, isn't that the ultimate, right? Is use someone else's money to do all this. And that's always been my goal. Shoots, I don't have much of my own, so I need a mortgage.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So when you actually secure a mortgage, that means you've been through the sequence of events that both of you have brilliantly educated us on for the past 9 years. We've been doing this segment about securing the money, proving to the bank that you are in fact trustworthy, that they can grant you that loan. You've worked with your realtor to identify the property, and now you actually have a contract between you and your lender to say that, you know, in order to own this property or live in it at the very least, you are the owner of this this mortgage, typically for 30 years. But not all mortgage deals are the same, right, Gina? And you can actually get a very, very fortuitous deal out of this.
They're not all the same. The requirements are not all the same. And that's what Liz and I are trying to do, is educate the public. So, to understand the concept that the mortgage lenders, number one, aren't the same. They seem to offer different products. And even for the same loan, the interest rates vary from lender to lender. So that's what, and that's where we come in. That's what Liz and I are trying to do, is really educate the public. And then for our customers who are working with us, educate our individual customers and guide them to the right lender, the right product.
Now, Liz, very often, and we've talked about the interest rate and like what the feds are doing in recent times, people tend to use that as a barometer towards, should I actually, pull the string and make this deal happen and actually get a mortgage? But you shouldn't basically say, based on what the interest rate is right now, that's the ultimate decision. There's a lot more information that goes into that.
There's a lot more information, and it's, we've been talking about this for the past 2 shows, but we feel that it's very important now. We were expecting the interest rates to drop a bit more, but it's pretty much stayed stable, at 6.7 right now in terms of the interest rates. But you need to really shop for a lower rate. And, the old days, we used to, when I started real estate, you had to have 20% down as a payment. And now it's changed where you're able to get a 90-10 loan or a 95, 5% down. And then there's also a 97-3, which is 3% down. But of course, on top of these fees that you put down, there's additional costs. But I think what's happening in today's market is, because of the interest rates, your mortgage monthly payment has increased quite a bit. Like if you were able to pay $1,500 or $1,700, now instead of paying those fees due to the interest rates, you're paying $2,400, $2,500, which is out of reach. And on top of that, your qualifications may have dropped based on, because of the monthly payments. But what Gina and I are saying is, be sharp, work with a realtor that'll help you shop for the interest rates. And Gina was just saying that her buyer found a interest rate of 3.8 at one bank. It's an adjustable rate, but that was fixed for a 10-year period. But when you get an interest rate that low, what happens is your monthly payment drops. So I did some comparisons that like a $2,400 payment at 6.78 for, let's say, $350,000 loan. If you got a 4.38% loan or a lower rate, your monthly payment drops to $1,700 something. So again, you can see from $1,700 to $2,400, or if your loan was $450,000, that is about $2,800 for a monthly payment. And if you got a lower rate, you could probably drop that to $2,100.
And like we've said on the show before, you know, the numbers that you're throwing out and the way that you're arriving at them, this is not differential calculus. You know, anyone can do this. It's basically like simple arithmetic, and you can clearly see when you have a deal that you probably should act upon.
That's right. And it's about shopping. And for you as a layperson running around, sometimes it's overwhelming and inundated with facts and figures. But if you have a good realtor helping you through the process, they can refer you to different banks that have lower interest rates or adjustable rates, and kind of explain, if you did this, this is what your monthly payments will look like. And then after a period of time, you can refinance it. So there's so many obstacles through the process, but a good realtor could help you through the pitfalls, and help you through that process.
Now, Gina, my next question is, because you have intimate knowledge of this, you know, case, like you were saying. So if the interest rate is in fact like around 6.2, it's hovering around there, which it is, but that buyer that was just mentioned, you know, got a deal of a adjustable rate mortgage at what, 3.8?
3.75.
3.75. Okay, I was rounding up, sorry. And they got 3.75. What were the criteria that buyer had about their own financial portfolio or their like, let's call it like their fitness to be able to qualify for that? And could the same thing happen to me?
Yeah, you know, you're correct in calling it fitness. It is a fitness test. You know, and that fitness test, the most important part of the fitness test is your credit score. And Liz pointed that out. Without a very strong, I'm noticing the lenders will say, okay, if your credit score is from this number to this number, we can offer you this rate. From this number to this, it's this rate. So absolutely, the higher your credit score, the lower you're able to negotiate with the lender for a better interest rate. Not on the fixed rate mortgages, of course, because, you know, that's why they're called fixed rates. Mm-hmm. It's going to be locked in at that rate. You might be able to buy a discount, yes, but that's something, you know, we could get into. But I think what we're trying to stress is that, you know, with our years of experience in real estate, we have been through these loan processes with our buyers over and over again. Over time, we've learned what you could do to negotiate with the lenders, what is negotiable. And then from there, we know which lender is offering what products. So like, for instance, my customer, what I did in advance, I already knew they were looking at the home. I already, you know, had information about what they were able to put down and possibly their credit score, right? I mean, I didn't have the number, but I had we had an understanding of what it might be. Mm-hmm. And so from there, as they looked at homes, I was in the background shopping for mortgage lenders. So I called different banks and
You're doing what Amazon basically does. It says if you qualify at a certain rate, you're recommending, based on that fitness, as you said, products that then match up to you. You're basically like eHarmony. You're like a dating service for homes.
It's a dating service for mortgages. Yeah.
It is about chemistry, for real.
Chemistry. Well, for me, it's about rates. And, you know, with some of my customers, I ask them, what are you sensitive about? Are you sensitive about down payment? Or are you sensitive about the rate, therefore your monthly mortgage payment? Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, you know what? You know, don't just go in and ask what you qualify for, because, yeah, that's important because it tells you what you could go out and buy. But the more important part of this equation is, what is the mortgage payment? If I get that amount of money from you, what's the mortgage payment? Because for me, I'm all about the mortgage payment. I'm sensitive to that. I may not necessarily want to pay $3,000 a month so I could be in a home. I might want to pay 25. And so I give them a list of questions to ask their lender, and then I send them to the different lenders. That's what we do. And that's what a good realtor should do for you.
There you go. Okay, now, Liz, what about some people who still are kind of on the bubble and they said the interest rate scares me, or maybe I've got like commitment issues and the fact that like a 30-year loan like really, you know, makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Could I actually use this transitional time as an opportune, let's call it an era, right, or a phase to improve my credit score so that hopefully when the interest rate does in fact stabilize, I can then qualify for more favorable loans?
Yes, the credit scores are critical. And we've had people who've had bad credit in the past. And then we would tell them there is a way to repair it, provided, of course, you've paid your bills, even though you're late. And if you've never had credit, apply for a credit card and then make payments on a regular basis, whether you need the money or not. Apply for a credit card to establish your credit. And then once you've established your credit, because I'll tell you, banks will not loan to you if you do not have a history of credit. Mm-hmm. So get a credit card, start out small, make your monthly payments on time so that when they do pull your credit score, it'll show there are no 30 days late, or because what happens is if you have one late payment, your credit score drops.
Again,
and
this is about fitness, right? You're proving to the bank
Yes,
that you are responsible enough to pay to make your payment obligations on time and in full.
Right. That's right. And if you had, let's say, a credit ability of, let's say, 100,000, but you've used part of that up, the majority of it, then what that does, it brings down your credit score. And as you make, let's say you decided to make a $20,000 payment, when you pay that, what does that do? It increases your credit score. So there's an ebb and a flow with your credit score. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up. And I mean, I see it on my credit cards. They say, oh, your credit score has improved because I've made a big payment. Or if I make a charge, then it says there's an adjustment to your credit score. And the other item to bear in mind, when you apply for loans, doesn't matter where, small or big, it'll flag it in the on your credit score that there's inquiries, which means it could affect, again, your credit score. It'll drop.
That kind of stuff can come back to bite you in the butt. Yes, if you bounce the check when like me, because I was young and stupid in college, right? I bounced the check because I thought I was buying some really nice clothes. It took me several years of diligent payment and getting credit cards and paying off and car loans to actually repair my credit score.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Okay, so Gina, I think if we take away anything from this, it's mortgages are not the scary word. Like, again, another M word. Mortgages are not monsters. They're set up and they're deals to be very, very favorable to you, and we should see them as such.
I personally would much rather use a mortgage, and if I have savings, I'd leave that in the bank, use the mortgage, because there are so many pluses to having a mortgage. Number one, you keep your money in the bank and not utilize it. So if you truly had an emergency like we did with COVID, and some of us weren't able to work because of COVID, you have that as your backup plan. Plus, the interest for most people is tax deductible. So it is a benefit there. And I just always have enjoyed the concept of using other people's money to benefit myself. So yeah, I promote that idea.
There you go. And that is the essence of capitalism. And there's nothing wrong with that. Mortgages are our friend. Let's see it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So Liz and Gina, once again, giving us not only sound financial advice, sound insight on the real estate market, but also peace of mind. There you go. Okay. Let's mortgages are nice. Mortgages are your friend. Okay. We're getting towards time. There you go. We're going towards real estate nirvana here on this show. So thank you everybody for watching. Ladies, thank you so much. I really appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Jason.
Jason, just one more thing. I saw your vision book program the other day.
Yeah, with Natalia. Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you before I let you guys go. Do you guys do vision boarding as realtors too?
Yeah, Liz has made us do it, I think twice that I recall. And I've got a vision book myself that I would love to share with you one of these days.
I would love to see, and tell you what, I've actually got a copy of Natalie's book. I'll bring it down there and you guys can check it out because it is wonderful.